Survivor's ready. Go!
Travis spoken.
Boston Rob and Amber are gonna do it.
This is a business trip, as I like to say.
You, Brad Culpepper.
I'm tired of you and the fucking chicken.
You can call me the puppet master. They can be my little puppets.
It's not like you're making a deal with the devil here.
You get to milk your own milk, I guess.
Who the hell voted for me?
Chicken.
We got enough rocks here, too. We could build a pretty decent shelter just using rocks.
I'm supposed to talk glamour to you. You understand that better?
Direct from Hobart, it's time for the only Survivor podcast in Australia dedicated to Survivor, bringing you all the latest interviews, episodes, and opinions from the greatest reality show on the planet. It's Survivor Oz, and here's your host, Ben Waterworth.
It is Survivor Oz, Australia's #1 TV and film podcast, as we continue our Survivor Second Chance campaign interviews, and very exciting to bring you our next guest. We often, whenever we talk about this person, say that they've always been so close to returning for a second time, and now it is in the hands of you, the voters, to actually make this become a reality, because on the line we have, from Survivor Season 12 Panama Exile Island, the one, the only, Mr. Terry Deitz. Terry, welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Good morning, you guys. How you doing?
Doing very well, very well. How about yourself? I'm a bit concerned, Terry, that you're not getting enough sleep. You've been a busy boy the last couple of days. So, are you awake? You've been getting that coffee into your system.
Yeah, I'm awake. I got my son off to school, drinking some coffee, just chilling out. It was a long day yesterday, but happy to be here. As I mentioned, it's kind of like the game's already afoot. You know, we're out there campaigning, trying to get votes, all that kind of thing, starting to really sink our minds into the game already.
I can imagine it's an interesting experience, because as I said, I swear every time we get you on the show, we mention how close you've come to actually coming back for a second time. So how does it feel right now to be even closer, and it all sort of hinging on people voting for you?
Well, you know, it feels a little better than last time, because this is the fourth time I've gone through the paperwork, and that drill of getting wardrobe together, of getting this together, and all this. You know, I think a lot of the Survivor fans out there know that you pretty much have to fill out a book worth of paperwork, from the application, which was 16 pages in Chapter 1, to everything else. So, you know, it tends to be a grind, and I feel a little better this time, knowing that it's not just casting that's going to be making the decisions up against, you know, certain other people for good TV. It's America putting us out there, and hopefully America will see the benefit of having me on the show. And you know, as much as I want to go back, it's in their hands, and I can do as much campaigning as I can. You know, and thank you for helping,
yeah,
for getting out there and everything. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and to all your fans.
We're very much happy to help out, because I can see all the reaction from our side of things, how people have been excited to see you on this list and really getting out there and voting. But how have you found the feedback so far from the fans on places like Facebook and Twitter and everything like that?
You know, it's been great. I posted a short little video from London the other day, and it's already I think it's got all the way over 300 views already, or 3,000 views already.
Wow.
Just posted it like the day before yesterday when I was over there for work. It's been great, you know, and the advice I'm getting from people on, you know, I'm getting advice on how to handle individual castaways, individual contestants. They're getting deep, and you know what? I could use all the help I can get, you know. Obviously, the challenge thing is good for me, but you know, I've listened to the fans over the past 10 years about how I can actually play a better game. Not like, well, you don't have a social game, you don't have a lot of strategy, you don't have this, you don't have that. They give me good advice, and I'm going to follow that advice all the way to the end this time, hopefully.
Do you find it swaying your opinions then of some of the people on the list that you're competing against that perhaps you're not overly familiar with?
A little bit, and I think you and your fans will know or recognize that, you know, these people didn't win either, so they all see some mistakes in their either challenges, strategy, or social game that they need to fix. So they're all not going to be playing the same game as well. So if you try to dial in on how they played the game last time, It's not necessarily how they're going to play this time, unless, they're not taking in lessons learned and advice from the fans on how to play a better game.
And looking at the list of the people that you're up against, and again, as we've been saying to everybody so far this week, Terry, we don't expect you to name names, but are you looking at certain people thinking that they would be the type of people you'd like to work with, some that you wouldn't like to work with, and things like that?
Definitely. As I mentioned, some of these people I've met before, especially doing, Give Kids the World and the Reality Rally in Temecula, California. We've met. I've seen the kind of people they are in real life, and those are the kind of people you probably want to hang out with when you get stranded on a beach, and and hopefully the feeling's mutual. So we'll see.
It was a couple of interesting connections for you, of course. I mean, you've got Shane, who was on your original season, and of course then we've got the likes of Deitz, who brother of Aris, and we all know the history that you guys had on Panama. So, I mean, glad to see those two out there. I mean, how much interactions have you had with Deitz over the years?
I met Deitz at our finale back 10 years ago, roughly, it's actually 9 years ago, but yeah, I met him. Nice guy. He's climbed a very big hill in his life, and he's doing well. It was fun to watch him play. It was fun to watch him interact with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing him back out there. He seems like a really good guy, a gentleman, and he's got a lot of attributes that can be used, for me, and I'm sure hopefully I've got some he can use as well in order to make our way pretty far in the game. Shane's a good guy. Same thing. He's climbed a big hill, squared himself away. He's a great dad to his son Boston, and he's got his new girlfriend and all that. So, I'm looking forward to hitting the beach and playing with those guys.
It'd be very interesting with Shane, actually, because Shane, I feel, is also similar to you, so close on so many occasions to go out there. And we saw how Shane was, and I could imagine that there's a lot of Shane stories that are hanging around there in the Panama vaults there, Terry, for people to discover eventually. But, I mean, it would just be fascinating to see sort of the two of you go out there for a second time after so many near misses, so to speak.
Yeah, I think both Shane and I have a lot to prove. We kind of both got cut off right there at the end, and in some cases really didn't see why it happened or how it happened. I mean, I can trace it back to two exact things, how or why I lost $1 million, but there was probably 10 or 20 things prior to that. Had fate not rolled a certain way, it would have been different. So, I think we're both in the same area of space in our heads where we're able to recognize things as they come and, observe it, make a quick decision, and act on those decisions in a timely manner. You guys have been around here a long time with Survivor. It can be a moment-by-moment game, and that's how quickly things can swing. So if you're not on your toes, the game could pass right by and you could find yourself, kicked out, voted off the island. I think you'll agree with me that, when it's just a normal Survivor, or even if it's, sometimes the reunion shows, but definitely just a normal Survivor, there's some like knuckleheads out there that even shouldn't be on the beach alone. It's scary, and they become easy votes off the show like right away. And I don't think you're going to find that this season with us because, everybody's got something to prove. It's not like, okay, we were on the show and maybe I won, maybe I didn't, maybe I'm a hero, maybe I'm a villain. I'm going back there because Probst sees that, we all deserved a second chance. We wanted a second chance to go back and prove ourselves. So when we all hit the beach, I think everybody's going to be going 1,000,000 miles an hour. Everybody's going to be working hard right from the start. Like I said, not like other Survivors where there's people that just don't have a clue.
Yeah, it's a very good point with that because, the two previous full returning player seasons in All-Stars and Heroes vs. Villains had their themes, and also both those seasons had winners on them, of course, whereas we're not going to have winners this time around. So, yeah, it's going to be a fascinating way of, particularly the start of the game, I could imagine, when everybody's tussling to make alliances and whatever tribe divisions you guys are on, because, we know the game, as you said, the game's already afoot, Terry, so there's things already in place I can see that is happening that might not exactly work on the very first day of filming.
I'm totally hoping that it is something along the lines of Guatemala, where, hey, you're here, the camp is 11 miles away, and half of it's through the jungle. And by the way, the race starts right now, and it's going to be, it's twilight. It's going to be dark in an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have, kind of have an idea about where things might be going, but, I'm all for getting dropped off 10 miles away in a longboat and paddling into the island. Have something really tough right from the start and then beat the crap out of us after that because A, it makes good TV, and B, you guys want to see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the harder things are, it becomes easier for me. Now, I'm 10 years older, but, there's been a lot of stuff in my background that'll help me through the hard stuff. So, yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's hard.
And do you feel going into it with a reputation of yours? You're one of only 3 guys to have ever won 5 immunity challenges in a season. Do you feel as though that reputation, people are going to look at that straight away as a huge threat, or can you work a way of spinning around that will help you perhaps in the tribal element to take your tribe far?
Well, I got to say, our show, if you look back on Exile Island, was really an athletic show. Every challenge had something athletes love to do. And but in saying that, as much as I love to do those challenges, Ben, I'm 10 years older. And I think I'm in pretty good shape. Definitely not the shape I was in 10 years ago. I've had a bunch of injuries since then, things I didn't take care of and drove into the ground. So, we'll see. I am totally not going to be able to rely on just challenges alone. I'm going to have to, bring all those lessons learned and all the advice from the fans that I've gotten over the years about strategy and social game and everything else. That's got to be the game I got to play. I got to play it hard.
Well, one thing I know, I was just going to say that I know in talking to you in the past on our show, Terry, is that we brought up both Colby and Tom, of course, the 2 other guys who have won 5 in a season, and both have returned to varying amounts of success on their next season. So at least I guess you've got that opportunity to be able to put Colby and Tom to shame and maybe keep this record going.
Well, I have reached out to some people and got a general view on what it's like to go back and games or challenges and not just survival, but it's like to go back in a big rugby match or something, whatever. It's different. People are going to be playing it different, and like I mentioned, there's other parts of my game that I'm totally going to have to concentrate on and hope that my body can withstand getting back into the challenges. I live for that stuff, so hopefully it still works out.
You mentioned in terms of things that you'll have to sort of look at to change for your game, and things that the fans have mentioned and that to you about things like social games and things like that. But is there sort of just one key element that you're really going to focus on when you go out there?
You know what? I need to listen a lot more. Now, obviously, 8 of the 38 days I was alone on Exile Island, except the time I was there with Danielle. So, that was like being alone. But oh my God, yes. That's where I made the little deal in the alliance that didn't happen. And so, I don't like to think about that. But I gotta stay around camp more. I have to get my ear to the ground. I've got to listen more. Provide more for the people, continue to provide and make myself worthy of being kept around. on that side, make people feel safe. People will understand I'm an honest guy. I'm a straight up guy. I'll tell you to your face if something's good or bad, and I'm not good at lying. So people will feel safe around me, but I've got to listen to their story. I've got to understand where they're coming from, and then help them along, help bring them along with me, and have them bring me with them. Hopefully, in a lot of cases.
Do you feel kind of how the game's developed too? I mean, you played season 12, this will be season 31, so nearly a 20-season gap there, Terry. I mean, do you feel the changes are overly significant? Because, I mean, you sort of came from a season where, Idols were obviously in play and Exile Island was something there, which we did see return only a season ago. So, I mean, in terms of sort of significant changes since your season, it hasn't really been as much as, say, some of the guys from the earlier seasons who are on this list, like from seasons 1 or 2, that really didn't have anything like you had on your season.
No, it's true. The game, in a lot of cases, I think, how it's always easier for the younger generation. I feel that way in Survivor, and I'm sure seasons 1 through 8 thought the same about our season. These guys are getting it easy, whatever. One of the things that has become less taxing on the contestants is the drawdown in challenges, the mix of reward and immunity challenge, and only one challenge in a 3-day period versus having a separate reward challenge and a separate immunity challenge. I tell you what, the challenges beat you up, and the challenges put more stress on the tribe. The people that lose, and the people that win, they're skating and they have something good like spear fishing or goggles to use. But the people that lose, I mean, that creates more stress within the tribe, and it also highlights the people that are not pulling their weight in their tribes. And it also gives people to be more like Big Brother sometimes, because now you don't have that extra challenge, and you got 2 whole days to just sit around the camp and bullshit, and do the Big Brother thing. So I don't know. I like more challenges. I think it puts more stress on the tribe, and to me, more stress is good.
Yes.
Yeah, more chaos is good when people are banged up and hurting and talking about who messed up the challenge for 2 more days and stuff like that. So that builds anxiety in the tribe, and that's sometimes a good thing.
Well, speaking of chaos, I mean, you've got somebody out there, potentially Chaos Cass, who there might be potentially a lot of chaos going out there, Terry.
Oh, well, I tell you, sometimes it's a little bit different. I think she's going to have to switch her game up a little bit. If she starts shooting off all over the place, people are going to go, oh, you know what, we just don't want that. We can't handle that type of thing. So, nobody can count on her doing the same things either. I mean, you call her Chaos Cass, but, a lot of that chaos is what we saw on TV. I don't know how much people picked up actually on the island, you know what I mean? A less concentrated view of Cass over multiple shows versus 3 days on a beach where she goes crazy for 2 minutes. She's a nice lady, though, and looking forward to playing with her.
I tell you what, I'm just picturing a Cass and Shane confrontation out there. I mean, that would be entertaining.
Yeah, well, I don't know. See, now Cass is former Navy. She spent some time over at Afghanistan and everything, so I don't know. I might have to stick up for Cass, on that one, The Navy people sticking together.
Yes, and then all Shane does now is host radio shows and podcasts, and what about those type of people, eh?
Yeah, he's doing fine in the entertainment world. I'm happy to see that he's got that show and doing well. That's great for him. He's got a lot of good things to say.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, I've been sort of putting the question to the people who've been having on about, this most recent season of Worlds Apart, particularly with people like Mike and Carolyn, because as of right now, we don't know how they finish. One of them could easily win and they might not be on the list anymore. But given that on the night of the reunion, one of them very likely might have just missed out on $1 million. They could lose, Terry, by 1 vote, really giving them, a hunger to go out there and play. Do you feel that is a dangerous person that you would really have to keep an eye on, given that they literally had $1 million taken away from them at the moment they are about to get on a plane to play for a second time?
Well, I think kind of yes and no. I've had 9 years to think about the same thing, being that I only, I missed by definitely one vote. I've had a lot more time to think about what I would change and who I'm playing with. These guys don't know any of us, right? Mm-hmm. They haven't been around. They go back and look and see, well, it might have been easier if I did this and did that, but what finally killed me? They won't have that aha moment. They'll have 15 hours on a plane over to an island somewhere to think about it, and that's it. And who knows, maybe the disappointment of not winning the $1 million will be hanging over their head when they hit the beach and not thinking about playing a new game. I don't know, Ben, you tell me. All of a sudden, you don't win $1 million, and now you're going back in the game tomorrow. Well, is their head going to be in the game? Yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah, it's interesting because, we've seen with these back-to-back players, a lot of the time they do very, very well. We saw that with Rupert, made it further in his second consecutive one. Amanda, Russell, they've all kind of had that initial success. Stephanie, Malcolm as well. But, it's sort of a completely different situation because with a lot of those guys, Russell, for example, he'd already filmed both his seasons before the first season's reunion was shown, if that makes sense. So it's kind of it's a different element.
It is, and it's going to depend on the person, and we'll see how it goes. Going back to remember that going back to back the way they did. They had basically 10 days off.
Yeah, 10
days off of that mess to go right back into a game. It might have been a little fresh for them. So these people have had 6, 7, 8 months, 9 months off since they came back from filming their show, so they'll be back in shape. But their mindset, especially those two, because they're going to go really far, and they're going to know or not know whether they won the $1 million or not. And hopefully it's not the final 3 that they find out they didn't win. Yeah. Oh, but by the way, you were going to put you on a plane and fly you 14 hours to go play again.
It's kind of win-win, really, because, both of them, they're probably in the top 2 favourites to win, really, right now for this season. So whether or not if one of them wins, they're a millionaire and they're a sole survivor, they're going to take that title. If the other doesn't win, I think they're both basically a shoo-in to be on the season, you would say, given sort of how relevant they are right now in the season. So I think really for either of them, one of them could be a millionaire, the other could be on the season. So
yeah, I agree. And good luck to the millionaire.
Yeah, you don't need them out there, Terry. They've already got their $1 million. They don't need to play again. Come on.
That's right.
One interesting thing too about if you and Shane are successful in getting on this season, that means then that the entire final 5 from Panama has returned at least once, which to me goes to show. I'm a Panama fan. I think it's a very underrated season, and I guess that, Terry, shows just what type of people that season had and how entertaining your cast was. So maybe opens it all up for some further returnees from your season in the future.
Well, I would hope so. I thought we had a pretty good season, and there were some memorable people. Totally. Cerise, totally memorable. Aris, Shane for sure. And I'm lucky to be in that number as well for what I did on the show. And we have some more people. I have no idea if they've contacted, say, somebody like Courtney or Bruce for sure. Bobby Mason.
Yes.
Bobby Mason's a big Hollywood entertainment lawyer now. He probably would not go back, but he's got better things to do. But but like I said, Bruce Conner guy. He's 66 years old right now. It would be great to have him back. He's a total character, and so maybe you'll see him go back. Maybe they'll have one of those old versus young things again, and you'll see Bruiser back on there, huh? That'd be pretty cool.
That would be great. We love Bruce, and that would be great to see him out there, actually. I guess as it gets closer, though, Terry, how are the nerves treating you right now? Because, again, it's going to be a very interesting way of doing it. You're literally going to be in the audience. It's, almost like a Price is Right. Come on down, Terry. You're going out there to play Survivor again. It's going to be a night of very interesting emotions, I can imagine, next Wednesday night.
You know, it is, and I have high hopes, but there's also, last time it was about 30 days. I had just come off an airline trip. I was walking out of the terminal with my bags, and I got a call saying I was going to the island. So, at that point, you get 30 days to prepare your mind and body, if you haven't already, that you're really going. Here, it's you got to hold back a little bit. Otherwise, there'll be some major disappointment if you don't get chosen. And so 80% of me are, I'm preparing like I'm going to go, but in my mind, there's a little bit of holdback. Say, hey, well, don't be too disappointed if America has decided not to take you. I mean, it's America's choice, and I'm hoping that I'm worthy enough to get back out there. In the meantime, I just got done with my last airline trip, and I am off until then. So, I'm going to be preparing even more. I have a bunch of honeydews I got to get done around the house before I go. There's a whole life that's going to continue to move on while Terry Deitz and everybody else is downrange playing a game for $1 million.
At least people will know where you are, though, Terry. There's no sort of false stories and I'm taking a trip to Siberia for 39 days or something like that.
Oh, exactly. Well, I'll tell you, last night I was out with a couple mates at a meeting, and they're buying me my last pint type of thing. It's this one's for the island, Terry. Let's go. Anyway,
now I want to give you a chance, a final pitch to really sell yourself to the listeners in just a second. But before I get to that, I just want to quickly touch on that. I know you came to our great country, Australia, over Christmas last year with the family. How did you find it, Terry? How did you enjoy your time here in Australia?
Australia and New Zealand were brilliant. It was brilliant. Oh, it was great. We did Sydney. Then we went up to Hamilton, the islands and stuff, and did the reef. Came back to Sydney, went over to Queenstown, did New Zealand a little bit, did the bungee jump. We just did everything. We did the bridge walk there in Sydney. People were great. It was a wonderful place to be. My wife and kids really loved it. It was an adventure of a lifetime. We would definitely like to spend some more time down under. It was great.
Well, I'm putting it out there to each of the contestants here, Terry, that should you win the $1 million, feel free to fly back out to Australia, come to Tasmania. We can do your winner's interview in person. How does that sound?
Oh, hell yeah. It's starting to get wintertime down here in Tasmania, isn't it? It's getting a little chilly.
Yes, well, I'll tell you right now, I'm sitting here with about 3 different layers on and a heater pointed directly at me. So, yes, it's slightly chilly right now.
Well, dude, I don't want to bust your bubble here, but I'm sitting on my front porch with a cup of coffee and my wife hanging out in short sleeves.
Just rubbing it in. That's all right. It's all.
Well, finally, we had a wicked winter up here. That was another reason to get down under was to get to your nice weather and stuff. I mean, the last 8 hours we had on in the country of Australia was spent on Bondi Beach, and it was just great, And anyway, we're finally starting to get some of that weather back here.
You brought it with you. Bondi's a fantastic spot, actually. It's a great beach.
Fun place for sure.
Definitely. All right, Terry, I'm giving you the floor right now. This is your chance. Spruik to the listeners. Why should they vote for Terry Deitz to return for Survivor Second Chance?
I tell you what, I really appreciate the opportunity to even be on this list to come back for Survivor Second Chance. Just kind of like NFL football, it's a game of inches and time, and I lost a challenge by 1 inch and 1 second, basically, that cost me the $1 million against Aris. And I spent the last 9 years thinking about it. Not obsessing about it, but using it to drive a lot of other things I do in my life. And over the past 9 years, I've listened a lot to what the fans have said about how I could have a better game. And I plan on using those lessons learned in the game this time in order to overcome anything that gets in my way. And believe me now, I go back on the island, it's go time and it's win time. I can't wait to go back, and I'm hoping everybody out there gives me their vote sees that, yeah, this guy's capable of playing a kick-ass game, and he's going to unleash it on the rest of the contestants. So please, vote for me for the next Survivor.
Oh, perfect. That was great. I almost want to give you a round of applause for that. That was good, actually. That was very well handled there, Terry. I think we can use hashtag Terry time, perhaps, when you're out there dominating some challenges or something like that. They need to put that up on the screen or something like during one of the confessionals or whatever they put up there.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I enjoy that, really. I appreciate everything you guys have done and helped me get my name out there. And just talking to you guys about Survivor, I mean, it's getting my mind going. It's getting my mind back in the game, and now I'm like chomping at the bit to get out there.
Well, mate, we always appreciate your time on this show, and we wish you the best of luck. And look, next time we get you here on Survivor Oz, we sincerely hope that it is chatting about your time on the 31st season of Survivor.
Well, hopefully it's a winning time, bro.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Terry Deitz, hashtag Terry time. I think that could take off, actually. From Survivor Panama, hoping to be on their season 31 Survivor Second Chance. And I think he's in with a very good shot. I really do feel and hope that all the people on the list from the first 18-19 seasons will be returning. And have to say, Terry is one of, if not one of the most deserving people to return, because as you heard him say, 4 times he has been close to playing again, and I think really alongside perhaps Shane, it's probably the closest people have. I know someone like Natalie Bolton has been on a list all the time, Troy Zan, they've all been on the sort of nearly list for a very long time. But I think Terry probably holds the record. So we definitely hope to see that record broken in terms of that he will actually be on the season, so we won't have to keep trying to get back on the show because he'll actually be back on the show. CBS.com, click on the Second Chances link. That's where you vote. Remember, you can vote once a day, or if you sign up for multiple accounts, you can vote lots of times. I know a few of us have been doing that, so it's just a way around it, folks. And we'll be continuing our Survivor Second Chance interviews along the way. Plenty more still to come. As always, send in your questions if you've got anything specific to ask any of the castaways. And you can get your questions in as well to those who we have never had on the show before. Again, so an example, Stephen Fishback, Stephanie Valencia, we've never had on Survivor Oz before, so we'll also kind of be combining it as their first ever interview on the show. So there'll be listener questions involved and talking about their first seasons as well. Facebook, Twitter, that's where you can find details. We'll post it all up on there. But a big thanks to Terry Deitz again, and a big thanks for you for listening to this interview. Stay tuned to Survivor Oz. In the meantime, my name is Ben, the Tribe of Spoken. We will speak to you next time on The Train.